Hi guys! I'm back after a very long hiatus, so I do apologise. I've kind of made the decision that I want this account, this channel to be focused on self-improvement in a kind of broader range. So not just the law of attraction and manifestation, but other things that you can do to kind of bring about good and positive changes in your life. So first on the list is the 3-day fast experiment. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why on earth would you want to do a 3-day fast? And for a much more detailed breakdown of the science and the research and other reasons behind why I want to do this, please do check out my Medium article, which I have linked in the bio below. But I'm kind of going to go through the reasons with you now. So I'm actually documenting the whole thing on TikTok, as well as through detailed kind of blog posts on my Medium account as well. So you guys can kind of come on the journey with me and see what happens. But so why do I want to do it? First of all, I've been fascinated by the kind of health benefits of fasting for a really long time, but there's definitely more than one reason why I want to do it. First of all, in terms of the health benefits, fasting does a couple of good things for you, the research said. As I said, check out my article to see everything in more detail. But it has been shown basically overall to trigger certain stress responses and repair genes in the body. If you guys have ever heard of hormesis, simply put, it's basically where a little bit of a bad thing can actually be good for you. So if you have something that could be potentially harmful to the body, like exercise, like fasting, when it's done to excess, if you give it in a small dose, the research has shown that it can actually be very good for you, because it triggers these kind of repair genes, these stress responses to actually start repairing and healing the body. So that's one of the health benefits. The other one, in terms of longevity, fasting has actually been shown to decrease, if you look at the research by Volta Longo, the stuff on hormesis is by Mark Matson and also Edward Calabrese. Again, check out my article. But if you look at the research from Longo, it can actually increase longevity in part because fasting decreases the circulating amount of IGF-1, which is insulin growth factor. And why is that a good thing? Because this particular growth factor is associated with certain age-related diseases, such as cancer and diabetes. So it's a good idea to have less of that in your bloodstream. What other potential positive effects are there? Well, in terms of your health. Well, for one thing, we evolved during periods of feast and famine, right? We weren't continually grazing. That was not the environment in which we evolved. There wasn't a supermarket around the corner, right? Like there is now. So our body's actually well adapted to that. Our bodies are basically going after two things most of the time: growth and reproduction. And evolution doesn't really care what happens to you after the reproductive bit. So, we're just trying to get to that finish line, so to speak, in biological terms. But, so what happens if there's no food? Yeah, body kind of like, oh, this isn't good. These aren't these aren't ideal. This isn't an ideal situation to grow or to pursue things like reproduction. So, first your body will push you to try to find food and to eat. Oh, failing that, your body kind of is like, oh crap, well, I need to survive until such a time as there's food around again. So I best put all my efforts and energy into repairing myself and looking after myself, this triggers things such as autophagy. I'm pretty sure I pronounced that wrong. Autophagy. Where basically old cells get broken down and reabsorbed by the body. That's one example. So again, it triggers those repair responses, the repair genes, the stress responses of the body. So basically, fasting unlocks a bit of a healing cycle in the body. And it makes a lot of sense from an evolutionary point of view. So I'm interested in that, obviously. In terms of kind of like shorter term things, I'm interested in like, what is it going to do, like in terms of my thinking, in terms of my thought process? Why? I'm wondering if actually, okay, initially you're going to have a sugar crash, you're going to have the brain fog. I'm fully anticipating that and struggling to concentrate because I'm hungry. But after that, what's going to happen after that? Because the body is usually running on glucose, right? And when that runs out, it releases and breaks down the glycogen stored in the liver. But what happens when that's gone? Well, your body starts breaking down fat. Starts breaking down your body fat. Not a bad thing to start getting rid of some of your body fat reserves, right? But also, that gets broken down into ketones, which are actually more effectively used by the brain. As someone who, personally, I have ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. I don't know if you can tell. So I'm interested to see if actually my brain struggles or actually functions better during this period. And then what else? What other reasons might I have for wanting to do this? Discipline. Definitely discipline and grit, I would say. Building my resilience, building my kind of, proving to myself I can triumph against adversity, I can push my body beyond its boundaries or limitations, and it gives me an opportunity to get used to being uncomfortable, so getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. This is something that's talked about in a lot of kind of discipline and willpower focus self-help literature. A good little book I recommend on that topic is Grit, How to Keep Going When You Want to Give Up by Martin Meadows. I'm going to link that in my bio. And also in terms of all the information, the science behind it, of fasting as a whole, I was first really, really inspired when I first looked into the idea of fasting by the Fast Diet. And I will also link that book in the bio. That one's by it's by Michael Mosley and Mimi Spencer. So that one is excellent, actually. That's a really great book on fasting if you're curious. Other aspects to it would be the spiritual aspect. Kind of when you're not so focused on the wants of the body, you start to think of what sustains you outside of your body, what might be beyond that. Some people, you know, in a lot of religious practices, people use it as a kind of a show of devotion and belief that something else can sustain them. So I'll be interested to see over the next, you know, over the course of this fast, what kind of revelations come to me. Yeah, and so is, big question obviously, is this for weight loss? No. I would right now say I do not recommend anybody who has a history or current disordered eating or are at a low, like dangerously low body weight. Do not attempt this. And also, if you have any underlying health conditions, if you're going to try and do this, you should probably get the advice of a doctor. I'm not a healthcare professional. But yeah, so for anyone who's curious, you can follow me on this journey. And I guess let's see what happens. But yeah, would only be during the fast, only be drinking water, black coffee, and herbal tea. No 0 calorie like beverages, because they have sweeteners in them, which can disrupt, like they mimic sugar. So yeah, that's what's gonna happen. But yeah, any weight loss I suspect will be temporary. But another potential thing that I'd like to gain from this experience is psychologically changing the way I view food, changing the way I interact with food. Because, you know, I think there's nothing quite like a fast to make you see the difference between when you're actually hungry and when you're just craving, and to recognize when you're actually full. I think it might make it easier for me to say no to things and to stop when I'm full, to change my thinking, because when I've done intermittent fasting in the past, that is what has happened. So without further ado, please do give this channel a follow, but also please let me know in your comments below any questions you might have, and also anything else you'd want me to test out or research or talk about when it comes to self-help or progressing yourself. I feel like, you know, 2023 is going to be our year. It is going to be our year. So let's make it one to remember. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and yeah, wish me luck.